innovative content, global audience.
Now, the 2023 general election is a game changer. A game changer in the sense that it is a time when the future of Nigeria will be decided. And very critical to the election itself is the umpire of the election, the INEC. Now, the INEC mostly has been criticized for not being prepared for the 2023 election. Most people have come to say that INEC in itself is partisan, or rather is affiliated to some political parties, most especially those in the ruling party. And now this conversation has been able to penetrate the mindset of an average Nigerian. And today, on People and Politics, we'll look at how prepared is INEC for the election, and we'll look at how the Nigerian society had come to accept this election to be free and fair if it ever was. My name is Kenneth Paul, and you're welcome to People and Politics. With me on the show today, I have a very young man, dynamic man. He's one of the people that push ahead the agitation for a free and fair election in Nigeria through his organization called the Anchorman Worldwide. Anchorman Worldwide was set up by him not just because of politics, but to reach out and help Nigerian youths to aspire for leadership positions and then to push them out to be what they have always wished to be, which is to be at the forefront of events in the country. I have with me in the studio, sir. What's your name, sir?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth. My name is Emmanuel Bello.
Mr. Emmanuel Bello, you're welcome to SRTV London.
Thank you very much.
Today on the show, like I said earlier, we'll be looking at the umpire for the 2023 election, that is INEC. So, Mr. Emmanuel Bello, you are the founder of Anchorman movement. Anchorman is, from my understanding, is set up all over the world. Can you help Nigerians out there watching you today to understand better the vision behind Anchorman, the structure behind Anchorman, and what you expect to achieve when you set out to set up this organization?
Thank you very much. Like I said, my name is Emmanuel Bello. Anchorman is into identifying, selecting, and electing good leaders through proper orientation and doing our seminars to people in our local communities. And for us to be able to achieve such kind of things, we have to have a structure. Our structures are based on the national structures. We also have the state executive structures. Down to the state, we have the local government structures, down to the world. Because we believe that without having good leadership in Nigeria, you cannot have such kind of structures. Yeah, so that's why we have such kind of structures, not only in Nigeria, we are also being in 25 other countries. So physically into identifying, selecting, and electing good leaders. Even aside from that, because aside from politics, also we are into humanitarian services, youth development, sport development, because you can get leaders in this kind of settings through sport, through humanitarian services, through youth development, capacity building, and also in doing that, we also assist people in giving us scholarship and abroad.
Well, from what I can hear, Anchorman is doing quite a whole lot. And I need to ask you, how do you fund Anchorman? Is Anchorman being funded by someone, or how do you go about getting the funds to do everything you say you do?
You see, Anchorman is, as we say, is a non-governmental organization. We fund Anchorman by taxing ourselves from the national officers. But nobody, no single politician and anybody is sponsoring Anchorman. So nobody is doing that. So we tax ourselves. For some of us who are doing other extra jobs, we'll be able to see how we can be able to do that to sustain ourselves and see how we can achieve these aims and objectives of our government.
Well, that is a very laudable one that you're doing there with Anchorman. Now, back to the subject for today. Like I said, I wanted us to look at how prepared is INEC going forward in the 2023 election. Now, before now, the comment mostly, or rather the feeler mostly by Nigerian youth has been that the INEC, or the Independent National Electoral Commission in full, which we call INEC, they are unprepared for the election. Not that they don't have the people to execute their mandate, but that that they have this affiliation to some political parties. We've had Before now, we've had reasons where INEC was to declare two winners in a state, and most people say this is also going to play in the country. Now, Uncle Mines, like you just said, is focused on electing and selecting credible leaders for Nigeria. Now, how do you think, after you've gone through the process of selecting, how do you think the umpire himself, the one that matters a lot in the election, how do you think INEC is prepared for this election?
And because before you can able to accuse someone, you should be able to come close to that person and understand the nature of his job. And people accusing INEC is because they feel or think that INEC is working for a political party. But for me, working closely with INEC, I think INEC is independent and they are ready for this election, even not because of the insecurity we are talking about, which that is left for the government to take care of it. But to me, I feel INEC is prepared for this election. And due to the activities we are seeing, the orientation, encouraging people to come and collect their PVC, the timetable, every day you check on media, the TV, the other social media, and you keep saying that INEC is actually prepared for 2023 election. So before you can accuse somebody, you should be able to know, study the person and come close to it. And that's why Anchor Minds is working closely together with INEC to see how this election can be able to achieve.
You've been able to talk about, being close enough to someone to be able to know.
Yeah.
Now, in the few, on long time you've been with INEC, through your organization, partnering with them and trying to sensitize Nigerians. Now, what has been the reception of Nigerians to INEC? Has it been hostile? Has it been one of open hands? People saying INEC is really prepared for the election. Or has there been a reason for you to know that Nigerians feel, we're not so confident about INEC? Or do you think it's just something that people say, if you come close to such an encounter where you think Nigerians don't feel, like INEC can believe what they can do?
Nigeria is a dynamic society. People think differently. You understand? We have different cultures, different way of understanding. So if something is not being favorable to some set of people, people just keep assuming that those people are not ready. But I will tell you the truth and the fact is that what I see is that it makes most Nigerians, and I see that 2023 election is going to be a credible election. And I'm seeing that INEC is fully prepared to see that this election is going to take place. But the people mindset, well, maybe a few people, but the people I work closely with, no one can tell you that INEC is not prepared for this election.
But then, I don't want to dispute what you say, but I think the facts will speak for itself. We've had a situation where members of the All Progressive Congress, talking about Loreto Nochi at the time, was nominated to be the residential commissioner for INEC. And this was able to, this had the world arousing suspicion amongst Nigerians who say they don't think INEC is being fair, but not because she does not have a constitutional right anyway to be there, but looking at her affiliations with the ruling party, being a spokesperson for the ruling party for some time, and then being put into INEC. Personally, I think the integrity of INEC at that time comes into question. And then when you look at the fact that even after the nomination was sent, INEC never rejected her on grounds of credibility. And then this has not just been the only case, but this is the one we know. We've had other people from political parties with known affiliations, people who have been known to be, they had this sensitivity to a particular party, and at the end of the day, they find themselves in INEC. You were there. Like you said, it's only when you're there that you know what is really happening there. Do you think these people are going to be game changers for INEC? Do you think these people are going to make decisions for INEC? Or do you think they're just there just to be there?
I don't support such idea. But the only thing I can say is she qualified, yes. If she's qualified, fine. What happens that if the INEC sends someone from another political party's name to be there? Will that person be criticized the way they are criticizing her? No. But because of the ruling party, they feel they can be able to criticize her. But first, because of the kind of politics we play in Nigeria, I don't support that idea that her name should be there.
Okay, well, the word from you is that you don't support the idea that name should be there, but then she is there. And then I'm not asking you, is INEC prepared looking at the fact that she is there?
Well, you see, the guidelines of INEC, irrespective of the political party you come from, will not make you think you can able to favor your political parties, because all eyes will definitely be on you on the day of election. So I don't think that she will likely want to go against the guidelines of INEC to be able to favor a political party.
I'm more moving away from the issue of nominations and resident commissioners. I think we need to now talk about the electoral law itself. Electoral law was passed by this administration, which I would say kudos to them, because no matter how people want to criticize this administration, I think so far they have been able to do a lot in terms of sanitizing the electoral process in Nigeria. Though questions still arise in where the law has been implemented and the kind of law that has been passed. But I want to ask you now, specifically on the electoral laws, do you think these are the kind of laws that will help us have a sane political environment, or do you think something should have been done better in the laws that have been put out for this election?
Well, these laws is a little bit fair because one of the part of the electoral laws is that the total number of people that actually came come to register is the exact total number of people that INEC is going to count.
Okay.
Good. But another thing now we suggested as at that time to INEC was that to bring an e-voting system. I think that can be able to reduce the stress of people going out due to insecurities we are having in Nigeria, and also seeing that people can stay. It won't stop people from doing their businesses. Someone can just sit down in his home and decide to vote for whosoever he feel like, or he or she feel like voting. So that is part of the recommendation we give to INEC, which INEC actually try to push it to the House, and at the end of the day, we don't know what will actually happen, and it's been rejected. But to me, I think this electoral law so far that this administration now to assign is going to be a little bit free and fair election in the upcoming election of 2022.
Well, sir, you just talked about the recommendations, some credible organizations like you made to INEC to allow e-voting system to take place, and then at the end of the day, when it gets to the House of Assembly and then the Senate, it seems like we just were able to trash that. But what I want to ask you now, sir, you see, one of the reasons why they trashed these recommendations was based on the fact that they say the Yahoo boys will hijack it. Like, remember in particular, I remember the member House of Rep was saying that they will hijack it, and then they were going to hack it, and then they were going to inflate it or something like that. And I want to ask you now, you making this recommendation, I know not just you, a lot of civil sector organizations made some recommendation. I want to ask, do you really think, technologically wise, or let's say looking at the technological, let's say advancement we have in Nigeria, do you think we have the capability to run e-voting system as it is now?
I think we have that capacity to run an e-voting system because I remember when I was the electoral chairman of Alumni Association of Benin University, we tested it and we see that it was credible. INEC also came and they also tested it and saw that the e-voting system, yes, we have intelligent ICT guys who can do that. They are all over going abroad and they are doing well. So why can't we bring them down to Nigeria and be able to do that? So if they say hackers, we are such kind of leaders. I don't see them like leaders who are actually mean well to the electoral body of INEC to see that we can be able to achieve some kind of things. Because at this stage of this 21st century we should be able to pass through such kind of things. But imagine at this kind of time in 2023 election, people will still stand outside to vote for whosoever they want to vote for. Come on, we are in a stage that we should use technology to be able to do what we can do. And I think INEC should have the capacity and the ICT to be able to track those people who intend to see how they want to have such kind of system. So I think INEC is ready.
Well, personally, me too. I think INEC could have been able to deliver on that mandate, but then for reasons best known to our lawmakers, they never decided to pass that bill into law. But like you said, if it's fair to say that with the laws we have, probably we could achieve something. But then there's an area of concern that I think we should address now is the area of insecurity. Of course, we know that there has been reports and confirmed reports of insecurity in Nigeria in some pockets of some areas of the country where we have the banditry and then the incessant attacks by some unscrupulous person into the on the security architecture of the country. Now, I want to ask you, sir, based on your observations, based on, like you said, how come it's spread across all the local government areas in Nigeria, and then when you interact with members of your organization, do you think the insecurity level as it is now will be able to encourage Nigerians to come out in mass to vote, or do you think the level of insecurity we have in Nigeria will be something that could make Nigerians to decide not to vote or to get scared and decide not to even come out for the sake of that?
I will tell you the truth. I feel the current insecurity of Nigeria now will discourage some people not to come out to whosoever. And that is where, if you see, I say Uncommerce is into identifying, selecting, and electing good leaders. That's where Uncommerce is coming from. We are encouraging our members all over the 36 states to see how you can go to risk your life, defend your vote, so that we can get the right people to put in power. Because if you see that some of these insecurity are technically political, to see that the bad leaders are trying to see how they can stop people from voting out the good leaders. So it's kind of putting fear into their minds so that they cannot come out and vote for whosoever they feel can represent them well. And that is why Uncommerce is encouraging its member almost every day. Make sure that at the end of the day you go out, defend your vote, even if it means for you to sacrifice your life. Make sure you do the right thing so that we can get a better Nigeria in the future.
Well, the message is that we will be able to sacrifice our life, but then most Nigerians will say it's not worth it, or in fact they will say it's a risky proposition for them to go out there and want to kill themselves. But I want to ask you now, sir, looking at what we have on ground, I believe there's always a way to work around it. So what are the recommendations that your organization has been able to send out to INEC in order to work around the insecurity, in order to get the needed people to vote, and then make sure the votes count, even with insecurity? What recommendations have you been able to put out there to handle this and get people to vote?
Let me go from one of the leaders that said the best way to tackle insecurity in Nigeria is to see how we can get people around the community that we stand as local security. You understand? It's only when you have local security they can be able to guide the environment and know who is a stranger and know the intention of those people who intend doing bad, that kind of thing. So what Uncommon is discussing, not only with INEC, but with other security personnel like the Nigerian police, is to see how we can use our local security very, very well, so that we see how we can defend that, so that nobody from outside can able to come into and scatter the whole thing, so that people will not have fears, to see how we can able to come out to vote for whosoever they want to.
Well, in fact, what you said that I think is very critical to be able to achieve a free and fair election, having the policing down to the local level.
Yeah.
But there comes a question now. The question is, with the way Nigerian youth most times are being misled into perpetrating violence for these guys in power, and then you begin to wonder. I'm yet to see at any time when a sitting governor or a governorship aspirant ever took a gun to go and shoot at a polling unit, or when a sitting House of Assembly member or House of Assembly aspirant himself had gone to disrupt the electoral process. Mostly it's been perpetrated by the youth. I'm yet to see a man of 70 years who has gone there to do this. And then we'll talk about state policing. We'll talk about local government policing at the local level. And these are still going to be done by youth. And I'll ask the question now. Is this not the same people that are supposed to protect that are still destroying the electoral process? And then how are we going to be able to trust the youth now, including myself, to be able to protect the electoral process, to ensure a free and fair election? We will talk about giving power to them to galvanize and arrange the synergy, or rather synergize with the police and making sure the process is free and fair. Do you really feel Nigerian youth at this stage can be trusted with such a very precious task without having emotions run through them in ensuring a free and fair election?
Well, those youth you are talking about are selected youth. You understand? The youth we are talking about causing such kind of electoral violence and all these things being used as talking for politicians are selected youth. But I will tell you the truth that there are most of the youth in Nigeria now who can really do this kind of work are still available. So those youths we are selected youth. When me and you know that we know them, and if we find those kind of youth in this kind of giving them such kind of appointment, then we have to raise voices, and that is why different organizations are available in the society to be able to defend people down to their local community. So those youth, like I said, they are selected youth, but not all the youth.
But yes, I'm not trying to dispute you. You know, when you say selecting, it looks like as if the numbers don't count.
Yeah.
But then we know that one man with a gun can actually scare away 500 without a gun. And then we have the proliferation of arms in Nigeria as it is now, even being reported by the security agencies that we have a lot of loose arms flying around in the street and in the villages. And then we need to ask ourselves now, if we have only 20 young people with a gun, I doubt how credible the election process will be, because a lot of people would be scared in the first place to even come out and vote, so they don't risk their life. Because at the end of the day, we've seen a lot of people die, even the men of the security forces die during the election process, and nobody ever does anything about taking care of the people they leave behind, or even compensating the family, or even paying their gratuity or whatever. In fact, most of their family get thrown out of the police quarters just because the breadwinners and died in the process of ensuring a free and fair process for Nigeria to have peace. And I begin to ask you, sir, again, do you really think, with all this that I've just said now, do you have that conviction that Nigerian youths are up to the task of protecting their votes?
I have that conviction that Nigeria youth are up to the task of defending their votes.
So what really gives you this conviction now, sir?
Are you aware that young youth like the Nigerian police is recruiting almost thousands of youth, if I'm not mistaken, maybe after 6 months or after 3 months. Are you also aware that the youth that we are accusing now are also going through some process of training that will change their mentality? That the kind of training they do there in the police training is to tell them that this is what you are supposed to do, so what so. But notwithstanding, we know there are still going to be bad elements. You understand? Even among them, there's still going to be bad elements. You understand? But I am very, very sure that the Nigerian youth can be able to defend their vote in 2023. Because the youth are also tired with what they need. The youth have been using them as trophy. At the end of the day, you find out that they are not benefiting anything. No scholarship for them, no food for them, nothing. You understand? After 4 years, after using them for election, they dump them and they forget about them. And most youth that we relate with are tired of these politicians, and they are ready to deal with them too. You understand? So they are trying to change the whole scenario. At the end of the day, we find out that the youth are going to also fight those leaders back. So I am very, very convinced that the Nigerian youth will defend.
And what exactly has INEC done in order to pass the message that we need a free and fair election process, a free and fair process where violence will not come into play? How exactly are they going about this?
Well, like I said, that Uncle Mines is actually playing a big role to see that he goes to liaise with so many political parties and telling them that we need a free violence election. And what we are trying to do, to be candid honest with you, the political parties are also discussing with their members to see that we have a credible election, because we've seen that having violence election have not been favorable to even some of them with their members. When the time which we were able to see, and like I said, that INEC also have this peace accord that they discuss with every political party candidate, especially their presidential and the governorship candidate down to the Senate, House of Assembly, they say that they have a peace accord. So, and you see every person that is contesting for one political party, one position or the other in Nigeria also have followers. And that message will pass down to the followers to make sure that we have a credible election, because what is stated that if any of the person, any of the followers, any violence that comes through a follower shows that the persons in question
It's
names
also violent.
yes, it's relating to violence or some other thing. So I think every candidate now is being conscious of the kind of members is follow, and he discuss with the members every day. The political parties are also discussing with their members to see that we have a free violence election come 2022.
And looking at the violence-free election, what role do you think the security agencies will play in this, and how exactly have Anchorman been able to interact with them, to get them to also help pass this message across?
The message across to
from the security agencies now, how have you been able to pass the message to them that they need to step up their game to get a violence-free election?
Well, you see, the securities have their own, they have their own techniques and they have their own system. What we are trying to do is to plead. We can't tell them more than their job. It's to plead with them to say that they can be able to secure the lives of citizens, which is their paramount to their, one of their aims, their priority, to see that they secure life and properties. So what we are doing is to see how we can assist them, to see how we can also protect our own members, using our own members to stand as observers during the election, and if there is anything they can also alert to the police. And I think before the election, the Nigerian police or the security agency will be able to send a number across that in case there is any violence or anything, they can step up their game to see how they can able to settle the whole situation.
Well, if you've been watching us, this is People and Politics in SRTV London. I would be live in Abuja, and it's been a very good one. I've been interacting with the president, founder and CEO of Anchorman worldwide, and we've been looking at the 2023 election in general. We've talked about how prepared INEC is, and of course we'll have to touch about the violent part of the Nigerian election. And from what he has been able to tell, the Anchorman has really done so much, in trying to interact with the stakeholders and trying to pass the message that we need a credible process and that we need a violent-free process. So I'll say thank you very much. Thank you very much for what you've been doing for Nigeria. And we want to see more young people like this pass the message. Remember that the message this year, or rather from next year, we'll have the election is vote and do not fight. We do not believe that a good leader will be elected through violence. Any leader that is elected through a violent process definitely is going to be a dictator and also a violent person. So from SRTV London, we're saying see you next time on People and Politics. And my name is Kenneth. Bye-bye for now.
Innovative content, global audience.